So let's talk about something that's quietly shaping who gets ahead and who doesn't. It's this powerful, almost invisible edge that some people are using, a kind of leverage that just works for them in the background. We're going to break down what it is, and more importantly, how you can start using it for yourself.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you ever get that feeling? You're putting in the work, you're learning new stuff, but when you look around, it feels like some people are just pulling away. They seem to be accomplishing so much more, and you can't quite figure out how they're doing it.
Well, here's the thing. You're not imagining it. They absolutely are getting ahead. And the reason it's so hard to see is because their advantage is almost completely invisible. It's the silent force, just working for them behind the scenes.
All right, so let's dive into our first section, running an invisible race. I think that's the perfect way to describe the professional world right now. It's not just about who's grinding the hardest, it's about who's working the smartest. And some people have figured out how to basically run laps around everyone else without anyone even realizing it.
But before we get to their secret weapon, we've got to talk about a huge trap that holds so many of us back. It's called tutorial hell. And it's all about this idea that just learning more and more is somehow the answer to everything. Turns out it's often not.
So what is this tutorial hell anyway? Well, it's a cycle I bet a lot of us have been in. You watch a ton of tutorials, you sign up for courses, you read all the articles, and you feel super productive, right? Because you're learning. But if you never actually take that knowledge and build something with it, you're just spinning your wheels. You're stuck.
And this right here, this really nails the shift in thinking you need. On one side, you've got that passive loop of just endlessly learning and feeling stuck. But on the other side, you have focused building. It's all about finding a real problem, making a simple little tool to fix it, and using that to get real, actual progress.
And that idea of building, well, that leads us right to the core concept here. Leverage that works silently. This is it. This is the secret weapon, that invisible advantage we were talking about from the start.
So what are we actually talking about when we say silent leverage? It's the edge you get when you build these simple little tools to automate stuff. It could be a little bit of code, maybe a clever workflow you set up with a no-code tool, or even just a really smart spreadsheet. The point is, you build it once, and then it just works for you, silently, in the background.
This creates this amazing loop, and it all starts with you. You're off resting, or maybe you're working on something totally different.
And while you're doing that, the little tool you built, it's active. It's doing that one job you designed it for, over and over again. And here's the payoff. That work it's doing either saves you a ton of time or it actually makes you money. You rest, the tool works, and you get the benefit. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so this all sounds great, right? But how do you, actually do it? That's what our next section is all about. Build one small thing. This is how you escape tutorial hell and actually create your very first piece of leverage.
Honestly, the process is way less scary than you might think. It really just boils down to 3 simple steps. First, you find a pain point. What's a repetitive, annoying task you do all the time? Then, you design a simple fix. What's the most basic solution you can think of? And finally, you just build the first version of it. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work.
And this quote, this is so important. It really gets to the heart of the mindset you need. You're not trying to build the next Facebook here. The goal is just to create something small and useful that solves a real problem you have. Think about it, like a simple calculator for a side business, or a little script that automates a boring report. Small, functional, and it's all yours.
Okay, so in our final section, let's look at how this all comes together to create your 24/7 advantage. This is where you really start to see the mind-blowing compounding power of a tool that works when you don't.
And this right here is the game changer. This is the fundamental difference between human effort and automated leverage. Your tool can work for you 24/7. It doesn't need to sleep. It never calls in sick. It never asks for a coffee break.
This chart just tells the whole story, doesn't it? Your personal effort, your human hours, they're always going to be limited. There are only 24 hours in a day. But the impact of an automated tool, it's scalable. The value it creates can just compound and grow way beyond anything you could do by yourself.
So when you boil it all down, what's the real payoff here? Well, building this kind of silent leverage saves you your most precious resource, your time. It can literally become a source of passive income. It's a scalable asset that you own and control. And maybe the best part of all, it works for you while you sleep.
So I'm going to leave you with a question, a little bit of homework, if you will. I want you to really think about your own work, your hobbies, your day-to-day life.
What's that one repetitive, annoying task that is just begging for its own automated advantage? Because finding the answer to that could be your first step to building your own silent leverage.